Some people look at a problem and they only see the roadblock. Others see the opportunity. Same situation, two completely different responses. Mindset shapes everything. The way you approach challenges, handle setbacks, and even see your own potential. Learning how to shift it can change the way that you move through life. And I say that because I had to check myself on this just last week. I had a challenging and humbling situation happen, and instead of immediately seeing what I could learn from it, I did the opposite. I saw myself as the victim. I sulked for a few hours. I let myself sit in that frustration, and honestly, I felt stuck. It didn't feel like a learning experience. It felt like a punch to the gut. And the longer I sat in that mindset, the worse it got. I started replaying the situation in my head, making up stories about what other people were thinking, and questioning if I should have done something different. The more I focused on it, the heavier it felt. But at some point, I snapped out of it. I grabbed a notebook and I started writing down every lesson that I could take from the situation, every way that it could make me better. And almost immediately, my perspective started to shift. It wasn't about rewriting the past. It wasn't about changing what had happened. It was about preparing for the next time. The next day, I walked into that same room with the same group of people, more confident than I had been the day before. And it wasn't because the situation had changed, but because I had changed. And that's what mindset does. It doesn't change what happened. It changes how you show up in it. It's easy to believe success is all about circumstances. But two people can be in the exact same situation under the same circumstances. One shuts down and the other steps up. It's not about who had it easier. It's about who decided to see it differently. We all have situations that feel frustrating or like they're holding us back. But what if the obstacle in front of you is actually an opportunity? What if this season isn't setting you back, but it's setting you up for something bigger? You won't see it that way unless you choose to. One of the most powerful mindset shifts that you can make is moving from why is this happening to me to what is this teaching me? That one shift changes everything because it puts you back in control. Because when you're stuck in the why me mindset, you start looking for excuses. You start blaming external circumstances. You start believing the problem is out there instead of looking in here. And when you shift to what is this teaching me, you move from victim mode to growth mode. You start looking for the lesson. You start thinking about how to get better. And when you do that, you start seeing challenges as training, not punishment. And that's when life stops feeling like something happening to you and it starts feeling like something happening for you. A lot of people wait until they feel confident before they take action. But confidence isn't what gets you started. Action is what builds up confidence. You don't wake up one day suddenly believing in yourself. You prove to yourself over and over that you're capable. Confidence comes from experience, not from waiting. If you've been hesitating on something, waiting for the perfect moment, ask yourself, what small step could I take today to prove to myself that I can do this? Because confidence doesn't come from certainty, it comes from repetition. Failure is something most people try to avoid. But if you look at the most successful people, they aren't the ones who failed the least, they're the ones who failed the most. The difference? They kept going. They were willing to try, they were willing to get it wrong, and they were willing to learn. The real failure isn't messing up, it's never trying at all. So if you've been holding back because you're afraid of getting it wrong, consider this. What's worse, failing at something or never knowing what could have been? The words you repeat to yourself matter more than you realize. If you keep saying, I'm not good at this, I'll never figure it out, or I'm not the kind of person who can do that, eventually you'll believe it. But turn that around. Instead of saying, I'm bad at this, try, I'm still learning this. Instead of, I'll never figure it out, try, I haven't figured it out yet. Small shifts in language change the way that you think, and the way that you think changes the way that you act. Every time you catch yourself speaking negatively about your abilities, reframe it. Talk to yourself the way that you'd encourage a friend. You'd never tell a friend that they're doomed to fail, so don't say it to yourself. At the end of the day, you can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you see it. And the way you see it determines what you do next. So here's the challenge for this week. Take one frustrating situation and reframe it. Instead of focusing on the problem, ask yourself, what opportunity might be hiding in it? The answer might change everything. I'd love to hear what comes up for you. Send me a message or leave a comment below and let me know what stood out to you. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode because I'm dropping new episodes every Friday morning and I'll be here to help you ask better questions and take meaningful steps forward. So until next time, change your mindset and change your life. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to ask the next right question.